All right, welcome back, everybody, for another episode of the Wednesday Watch List. This is my look ahead to this week's new comic books that are coming out this new comic book day, Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. So these are some of the things that I've got on my reading list, my pull list, some incentives and covers that are selling for more than, getting a little bit of a premium already ahead of release, things like that. Covers that jump out of me, some of the special covers and cover variants that are being released for this week, some new number ones, etc. Just a quick little rundown on all the new books coming out for this week that I'm paying attention to that maybe you might find interesting as well. Hopefully you're enjoying this series as well as everything else here on the channel. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Your comments do help the algorithms. They help get us out there and get us out to a wider audience. So please comment below, like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing this channel and keep giving you this great content that I'm sure you all are enjoying. And if you want to see what books I'm looking at this week, all you got to do is hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. All right, so as we always do, let's start off with this week's Buzz books. These are some books that got some buzz going into it, and yeah, there's a few. There's a few of note that people have been looking forward to, I'd say, for the last month or so, waiting for these new releases to drop, or maybe in the last week or two. I say that because the first book is Batman. So Batman is the third part in Joker Year One. This has been coming out weekly the last couple of weeks, which is why I said you might not have been looking forward to it but for the last couple of weeks, because this has been a weekly series. Interesting read. I'm enjoying it so far. Yes, I know it's another retcon of the Joker's, origin, etc. But I'm finding it interesting and I'm enjoying this read. Would have been on the reading list if not for the fact that these books actually have been doing well. Even the cover A's have been following that trend of late where they've just been popping. Like they've just been selling for a premium right after release, whether it be based off the story, FOMO, whatever it might be. This, along with some of the other books we're going to talk about here in the buzz list, have been trading again at a premium right after release. I mean, you look at Batman 142, which was the first part of this storyline. Even 143 started getting a little bit of extra last week. And here we are with 144. Multiple covers here, but no incentives once again. Surprised by that move by DC, but no incentives. But we do have variants. We've got B, C covers, D's, E's, whatever you want to go and run through the alphabet. There's a nice handful of covers here for this issue of Batman. Now, Batman is not the only title that has been, again, creating some buzz around in the marketplace, selling their regular issues at a premium. The one that probably is more notable of late is Ultimate Spider-Man. And here we finally, it seems like forever, but it's only been a month, we get issue 2 of Ultimate Spider-Man. So we will see if this continues this trend, if there will still be more demand than there is supply, because once again, the FOC would have been before that first issue would have been released. So we'll see what happens with this one. So issue 2 looks like we're getting a version of the Goblin here already in this Ultimate universe, and we'll see if this one it continues what was a really good read. I'm looking forward to reading this one as well. We'll see if this one does as well as far as the market goes. Multiple covers here, despite the fact that everybody seems to love cover A's. There are open order variants for you to buy if you're interested. I think we got is that Elizabeth Torque in the middle? I can't remember who did that one. But what's more interesting is while the Bagley on the left there is dubbed the connecting cover, the other cover, while it's not exactly a connecting cover, it does mirror issue 1. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. First, we'll get into that Bagley connecting cover. So even though we normally have a connecting cover segment, I'm going to show you it here because here we are. And it makes more sense to just do it right now while we got it in front of us. So this is issue 2. It's got Miles Morales on it for whatever reason. And we've got, Ultimate, original Peter Parker there in the original Spider-Man. So this connects with that. 1, 2, and guess what? We are getting volume 3, kind of completing this era, I guess, because we did have the original Peter Parker Ultimate run. Then he handed over the reins to Miles Morales when Ultimate Peter Parker died, and now we have another Ultimate Peter Parker version with a, messed up timeline, thanks to the maker. But these 3 covers, and that is issue 3, which will be coming out on March 27th. We'll finish that connecting cover set. It's all right. I think there's just a lot of too much dead orange space for my taste, so I'm not rushing out to grab this set. But it is kind of fun when you put them all together, as you can see, here. The different Spider-Man with their supporting casts down below. I mentioned the other cover because while not exactly a connecting cover, these two do sort of mirror each other. It feels like there's just a chunk missing that blends these together, but we're getting, Ultimate Spider-Man there and Goblin, going head to head of a sort. Yeah, just thought it was interesting. And when I saw that second cover, I was like, it looks just like the other one. I was like, well, it's kind of a mirror, but it's a little bit of a, blackbirds versus white birds, a little bit of a, again, opposites, and then they got their reflections behind them. I don't know. Thought it was kind of interesting. I do like the one in 25. I know there's a lot of empty space on it, but there's something about the positioning and the motion that is being created by this image. I don't know. I like it. I like the one in 25. It's not doing too badly considering the one in 25 still on that issue one. It really isn't doing much, and the one in 10, etc. The incentives just aren't really popping like the regular covers are for one reason or another. But here for the one at 25, it's kind of a similar story. It's right around ratios. You can see some of those early pre-sales, and the asking prices are mostly $25, which is ratio. And then there's that $150 ask. I don't know if that's just because some of the Black Panthers kind of hit as far as the ratio incentives go, that maybe they're hoping now the trend's going to turn. I don't know. But again, these are pre-sales, asking prices early. Um, early attempts at trying to see what the market's going to be. Book's not even out yet. Got to wait a couple of days. It'll be out. We'll see what happens when the book is in most people's hands and see if they want to keep it, try to flip it, try to get a premium. Is there more demand than there is supply? We'll find out as the week goes on. That said, this cover, which I do enjoy, the 1 in 25, is also the cover for the 1 in 100. They just, again, make it a virgin version. Lazy, I know. Lazy Marvel with their 1 in 100s the last year or so, but we should be used to it by now. Should not be a surprise, but at least they picked a decent cover to give us that 1 in 100, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people might not like this cover that much. I don't know. Something about it. I like it. I enjoy it. But the 1 in 100, again, right a little bit above ratio with some of these early sales in that 110 to 120-ish kind of range. So not much of a premium for 1 in 100. And even the asking prices still aren't really that high either. Granted, it's surprising that it is above ratio, both the sales and the asks. So that is a little bit of a trend that is a little different than at issue one. Because at issue one, those 1 in 100s were selling for like $80 and $65. Like they were really at a discount when you consider the ratio pricing. Not to say that's how the standard. It's just how most places end up doing their pricing. And here we're looking at the asking prices be $110 to $125. I know a lot of people ask what I mean when I say ratio and incentive pricing. Like that's just kind of what most shops and stores will do. If it's a 1 in 25, they'll ask $25 for it. But that's not. It's not apples to apples. It's not like that's the suggested retailer price. It's just a standard kind of thing that we've seen over the years. It's kind of changing a little bit, but it is a baseline that we could start from. It is definitely a baseline for us. With that said, those are two books that are definitely got some buzz going into them, but I also think they're not alone this week. Now, this next one, it's a milestone issue. There's something to look forward to that's already causing them big ruckus there in the aftermarket, but we'll get to that in a second. But the book I'm talking about here is Spawn 350. Seems every time we get an anniversary issue with Spawn, we get a big announcement. Look, a record-breaking 350th issue. Todd's making a big deal out of it. Not to say that he should, but it seems to be what we're going to get is a bunch of different covers as we're getting here. I forget who's doing the cover A. Puppeteer Lee, I think, doing the cover A, and then Todd's giving us a B cover. Then we've got a couple other artists, Brett Booth, etc., dropping in some covers here as well. And we also get a black and white version of that McFarlane cover. Now, in addition to this small handful of covers, they are giving retailers a special book, and this is the book I'm talking about. That's kind of it's selling for a lot already, but it's going to be a little while before they get them. We're talking about the 1 in 25 one per store. Why is this a little different? This is not exactly a ratio variant, as I understand it. It's not like for every 25 copies, stores can get one copy of this. No, it's all stores that order at least 25 copies. They will get one of these uh, thank you editions that are signed, hand signed by Todd McFarlane. That's how I understand it. So it's not exactly a 1 in 25, but it's a minimum order, and you can get one sort of incentive. Now, this book is not coming out this week, though. The signed edition is delayed a bit. It's not going to be, as I understand it, in at stores until March 7th. So we'll see this eventually. But what we are seeing is McFarlane fans, Spawn fans, they are a dedicated bunch, and they are a bunch that will spend. They will spend money on tougher to find variants and exclusives and things like that. They really do. I know you guys have probably remembered all those New York Comic Con editions causing fights a few years ago. Those silver, gold, or platinum and gold, whatever they were. Point being, I'm a little shocked by this. The prices are so high for this 1 in 25 sort of book, but $380, $400, $450 accepted best offers. And that's just in the last few days. And the book's not going to be in their hands for another, 2 weeks. And we're looking at the asking prices. They're now starting at $525 and $540. And then you got, granted, that's not multiple copies. That's just a picture of, I think, from Todd showing him doing all the signatures. But you can see there was an auction starting at $400 with a $625 buy it now. Point being, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for one of these. I'm not doing it, but I get it. A lot of dedicated fans that apparently have bigger wallets than me. That said, even this book's not alone. I got one more in here. I'm going to consider this still a buzzworthy book. Maybe I'm biased and maybe it's just buzzworthy to me because I enjoyed the first issue, but I think people have been talking about Cobra Commander a little bit, Cobra La, and all that fun stuff. It was better than I expected to be. I didn't think it would work, but it so far has. But we've only had one issue. Definitely looking forward to reading issue 2. So here we go. Dreadnoks also showing up in this one, as I kind of showed up at the tail end of the first one. But we got cover A. There is a cover B that is this is even sold out like at Midtown already. This B cover. So that's sometimes an indicator of a book that people want to go and find. I don't know why. I mean, it's a cool cover. You got Cobra Commander kind of down in there in the swamp, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes as the week goes on. But there are a few incentives for this book as well, as Skybound has been giving us pretty regularly the 1 in 10s, 1 in 25s, and 1 in 50s on these G.I. Joes and Transformer books for the most part. So Cobra Commander miniseries issue 2 has that 1 in 10, and you can see it's got a Zorana on the back there, and another one of the Dreadnoks. I think that's Torch behind him, and then we got is it Ripper or Buzzsaw? Can't remember all their names on the top of my head. I also just a teaser for tomorrow's show. I'm going to be doing a Bargain Hunters on the Tuesday show. I know I did Chasing Ghosts last week, and I know you guys have been missing that. Don't worry, I'll do another Chasing Ghosts soon, but to pivot. Wasn't going back to trade secrets. I'm not going back to the toys just yet. I said, let's go back to the Bargain Hunters category and give you one of those tomorrow. So I'm kind of piggybacking on some of the G.I. Joe stuff that we've been doing lately, like on the TAC show a few weeks ago. Marco gave us a good under the radar that had a few of the books that I might be recapping yet again on the Bargain Hunters. So make sure you check that out tomorrow. With that said, there's also the 1 in 50 there as well, if you're interested into that. Maybe I'll talk about some of these Dreadnoks on the Bargain Hunters and get to more a little bit later. Anyway, that said, let's get into the reading list. These are books that are going to be at the top of my pull, apart from all the books I just listed there. Well, except Spawn. I'm not going to read Spawn. I will be getting one because out of habit, I get Spawn. I've never really been a big Spawn reader, but I'll admit it. I've been a Spawn collector for a while. I just keep getting them out of habit, but I can't even remember the last time I read an actual Spawn comic. But all the other books, Batman, definitely want to read that. Cobra Commander, Ultimate Spider-Man, definitely be at the top of the pull list with these other books, which we will start off with the G.I. Joe theme and go into Real American Hero. While not in the same universe as this other Skybound stuff, this is picking up where the IDW stuff left off. So Larry Hama's still giving us these tales with the characters you've been following. And I will be honest, I was not a big reader of the IDW run. It would just seem so daunting of a task to kind of catch up that I know a bit of what's going on, but I haven't been 100% on board. So I'm trying to catch up here by reading these newer issues since it felt like a good jumping on point with the Skybound universe, but they're not in the same universe. So I still kind of feel a little bit behind. But even with that said, 304 is coming out. You got Dawn Marino there, front and center on that cover. Alley Viper down below. There's a black and white B version and a 1 in 10. That's pretty cool with Destro and Duke right there. I kind of like it. But not selling for too much. I mean, it's a little above ratio. We're looking like 10 to 15 bucks for that 1 in 10. So if you're interested, you can find it for that price. It won't break your wallet, but, don't know where these things will go down the line. Now, we are getting another issue of Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. I'm still enjoying this crossover. It's fun. It's it's a little bit different, but it seems like some of the buzz is kind of worn off. It's not as at the top of, I think, of a lot of people's pull lists anymore. I don't know why. I mean, maybe they're just giving up after, what is this, issue 5? Yeah, so after 5 issues, they're already bored. I don't know, but I still think it's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to it and looking to checking this one out. We do have other covers, here as well. You get some more Godzilla, Kong stuff. Pretty cool, not bad. I like the classic. Looked at, I think it's that Cho. It was a Michael Cho cover. Anyway, incentives here as well. There's a 1 in 25 and there is a 1 in 50. What's interesting is as this series has moved on, looks like some of these incentives now are getting harder to find. Because again, maybe orders are down. As I said, the interest has kind of waned a little bit. It's not the shiny new penny that everybody was looking at when it was issue 1. So here at issue 5, you might get a little bit of a premium if you can score one of these incentives. As you can see here, yes, there was a $20 pre-sale, but there were also 2 $45 pre-sales of the 1 in 25. Asking prices $35. Don't know where it's going to end up, but something to keep an eye on. The 1 in 50, however, had a couple early sales. $80, over 100, like 125, and then there's a best offer that was even more than that. That was way back in January, though. Actually, all these were back in January. But the problem is, there's none on the market right now. So this one could be a little tougher. Because like I said, maybe a lot of stores aren't ordering 50 copies of this anymore. So we'll see how this one plays out as well. Pretty cool cover. I like the Batman with Kong back there in the background. You got Green Lantern kind of streaking across the sky. It's a cool look. And we'll see what happens as a couple days go by. Now, in addition to this, I also want to read Hellblazer. I like John Constantine. So John Constantine's Hellblazer Dead in America. We're finally getting issue 2, continuing the story here. I don't know. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it. The Sandman universe. Only 2 covers here, I believe. There's an A cover, and then we got a B cover with a Swamp Thing there. Both pretty solid. I'll be happy with whichever one I grab. Just going to grab one of them and, just to read it. Also, trying to catch. I didn't read issue 1 yet. Was on my pull list. I just got to catch up. But Critical Role, Tales of Exandria. Is that Hardigan? Anyway, I like the Critical Role stuff. I'm looking forward to once we get Vox Machina back. But we are getting the Tales of Exandria, I believe, with the Mighty Nine. Like, there's more stuff coming our way. So I'm trying to read. I mean, I've been getting those Mighty Nine. They're like little graphic novels, like hardcovers. They've been coming out every couple of months. Been getting those. Got to catch up on reading all that stuff. It's just there's so much content out there that I want to dig into, and things that I like to read and enjoy. I can't keep up sometimes, so I haven't gotten to issue 2 of this, to issue 1 of this yet. But I figure with issue 2, I might try to double up and read them back to back. So that's why I got it on my reading list to put it in here, so I hopefully don't fall too far behind on the series. Like I kind of did with Army of Darkness Forever. Got to catch up, enjoying what Tony Fleece is doing with with this story. It's it's Ash. It's fun. I miss the show. Like I do miss the Ash versus the Evil Dead show that was on Stars. It was a lot of fun. So hoping for more out of Bruce Campbell down the road. But in the meantime, there's some great comics that can kind of fill that gap. Couple of cool covers here. I mean, the cover A is pretty solid to begin with. You got the Arthur Soydum or Sudum, however you say it. couple other options for you there on issue 5 of this series. So, like I said, it's got to catch up a little bit. I think I'm an issue or so behind, but looking forward to getting this one too. Daredevil. Whew, it's another one. So Daredevil's got another issue coming out. Looks like Doctor Strange is going to be joining him. JR cover. It's all right. It's not the worst that I've seen, but it's kind of bland, a little flat. There is another cover that we will get to in another segment, but there is also a 1 in 25 if you are interested. Kind of like the Wolverine in the brown suit, or looks like he's wearing some sort of tactical gear. Yeah, it's kind of cool. But issue 6 here, this is the 1 in 25. Also, this is not selling at a premium. You could find this one out there if you are if you like shopping for these types of variants. This is the type of book I'll look for really cheap down the line. I'll be digging in boxes, hoping to find it for like $5. So we'll see. We'll see where that one ends up. That said, Incredible Hulk, another series I've been liking. So Incredible Hulk number 9. Philip Kennedy Johnson's given this pretty cool horror angle on the Hulk. Been liking this, been digging this. Issue 9, couple of covers here as well. On apart from the 8 cover, there is a Greg Capullo cover. It's not too bad. Pretty cool, right? But they're also making this a Virgin 1 in 50. So if you want that Virgin version, you can get this one as well. I feel like without the trade dress, there's just so much empty space at the top of this. They really need to do a better job of framing these things, in my opinion. If you're going to make it a Virgin, plan for it. Just, I don't know, rework the angle, zoom in a bit, maybe get rid of some of that dead space, and it could still be the same cover. But the 1 in 50, it's got a little bit of an extra here at times. As you can see, look, there's one pre-sale was only $25. Then there was one at 50. And there was one at 75. Trending up, maybe. Those are pre-sales. Weren't very consistent, so we'll see how it goes. But the asking prices, again, are just as inconsistent. Asking 50, asking 80, asking $120. I mean, I get it. This is a 1 in 50 on an issue 9, which is pretty deep into the run for all intents and purposes. But it is a Greg Capullo variant. Maybe shops ordered up because he's still a draw as far as an artist goes, especially going back to Marvel. So maybe the orders are a little higher. We'll see. But those are what people are shopping for right now. Moving on, I do have some X books to read. Rise of the Powers of X. I honestly am just kind of looking forward to this era to end, and we can move on to the next one, but we're not there yet. So, got to keep, I don't want to say grinding away, but some of these stories haven't been great. Some have been better than others, but, we just got to get there. So, issue 2, Rise of Powers of X. I'm still going to keep fighting through it. Multiple covers here, as you got Rasputin 4 there on that cover A. I think there is a, it's like Carrie Andrews, I think, got a variant, as well as is that David Mack? Some cool stuff, and there are incentives that will make Virgin versions of some of these when you have the there's a 1 in 25 with new art, but then the 1 in 50 version and the 1 in 100 version. Again, par for the course for Marvel. Just not very creative with the higher ratio incentives, but sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. Right now, these aren't really doing anything above ratio. They're in fact below ratio. So if you're interested, you can get them for less than ratio pricing. That said, there is one more cover. We talked about it last week with what was it, the fall of the House of X. So we pointed out that the next week we'll get a connecting cover. So we're just going to do a quick little section here, just rehashing what I showed you already, because we're getting that other issue, which is this one. This is the issue 2, which, just like last week, they'll go together and get you that connecting cover set, because that's what they've been doing. So they've done this in the original House of X, Powers of X series. Now that we're at the end of this era, they're doing it again with the connecting cover set on each next numbered issue. So come to issue 3, we'll probably get another set that will match up. All right, let's move on. Damn, we're already 25 minutes into this, and I'm only getting to the new number 1 section. I think the rest of the way will go a little quicker than where we started, because there was a lot of stuff I wanted to read this week. So I'm going to be busy. But even with some of these new number 1s, I'm kind of want to check some of them out if I have time. Books like this, If I have time, I'll check out Edge of Spider-Verse. I'm just really not that into these anymore. I'm kind of bored with the whole idea of another new Spider-Man variant, another Spider variant. Oh yeah, another Spider variant. Great. Just tired of it. It's just not new. All right, who are you mashing up now? Great. Featuring Spider Bite. Sure. I guess I care a little bit. But I know a lot of people do. So for them, they've got a lot of options apart from the cover A. You've got a bunch of other covers here. You got a Scotty Young, you got a Stormbreakers with Spider Punk being featured there. I do kind of like that Scotty Young a bit with all different Spider characters on it. It's kind of fun. Then we also got a is it a Derek Chew? I think in the middle. We got a Star Wars homage, which I think is going to do all right, as people do like those homage covers, as I do too. I could have done an homage section this time out, but I chose not to. The books are just going to be mixed in here and there. You know what they look like. I don't need to show you Star Wars one to see the connectors, how it connects there. And then we got another variant with Miles front and center as well. That one in the middle is our 1 in 100 virgin version, because that's what Marvel does. And yeah, it's about ratio or less, maybe a touch more, a little, no real movement yet. So we'll see. There is also a 1 in 25 that I didn't want to skip it, but there is a decent 1 in 25 featuring Spider-Gwen, which is again not doing much on the aftermarket yet. So we'll see how it goes as the week goes on. But for now, nothing to report. Marvel is also giving us some of their Fox properties with some new number ones. So, Aliens is giving us a new number one with Black, White, and Blood. Marvel's just been liking doing these Black, White, and Blood instead of Red, Blood for their more extreme characters, the Wolverines and Electras of the world. And Aliens would fit that bill too because they do a lot of murder. So, issue 1 of this series looks kind of interesting. Some cool covers here with that 3-color scheme with the black, white, and red. Here's some of the other variants you can get a hold of if you are so inclined. Not too bad. There is also a virgin version for the 1 in 100 and 1 in 25. That reminds me of the end of was it Prometheus or Covenant? I think it was Covenant when they're fleeing the alien planet and the alien was on the outside. I think it was Covenant because Prometheus, that was when he had the weird flesh-colored alien that kind of brought it back. Anyway, kind of cool. Not really doing much on the aftermarket yet either, but keep an eye on them. This is the kind of stuff that there may not be a ton of them out there, and if they do sell, they could sell for big numbers at times. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We do have a new Predator starting up a new mini here as well with The Last Hunt. Kind of fun. Cover A. Some variants here as well. So you got options if you want to go to the shop. And exactly like the Alien book, that one in the middle is going to be our 1 in 100 and virgin version. And then there is a 1 in 25. That ain't too bad either. Now, 1 in 100, I didn't really notice much on. But the 1 in 25 took me a little bit by surprise because there actually are some early pre-sales above ratio. Granted, 30, 35, 40 bucks, not a ton, but still, touch over ratio, something to keep an eye on. Asking price, well, there's a ratio 1, 35, 40 bucks, what they're asking. Lucio Perillo, by the way, on this cover art, so that could also be part of the draw. You got Perillo doing a Predator, kind of cool. I don't know, but it's something to keep an eye on for this week, because this one has potential to heat up a little bit, as you can see, based off of some of these early sales and these early asking prices. Now, I believe I heard some rumors that last week's the One Hand, that Image series, that started up, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? It was semi-recent. But now we're getting like a companionish type of book with 6 fingers. I still don't know much about how these books will connect with each other, but they do, and you will see how with these special variant covers. But there is a cover A on this one and a cover B, new book out of Image. But then there is that surprise, a bueno surprise is what they called it the first time out. Now, they're not really calling it that from what I can see the second time, but I'm going to call it the same thing because, as I told you the last time, these two will connect with each other with the One Hand and the 6 fingers. So there you go. I don't know. I know I got to read to try to catch up on these things too. Again, to figure out how these connect. I do have them on my pull list because it sounded interesting. I just haven't gotten around to reading them yet. So to be honest, haven't gotten to this yet. Let me know how if this is good. If I need to move it up in the order and read it sooner rather than later. But for now, it's enough for me to know I have these on hand. Will have them on hand and could check them out at my leisure. Now, another interesting number one that actually I'm not pulling, but kind of curious about. Cemetery Kids Don't Die. Oni Press. Don't know much about this. This kind of caught my attention. Uh, a few covers here as well. We've got A covers, B's and C's. As I understand it, it's something. The story is kind of interesting sounding. It's like in the future or an alternate universe, I guess, of sorts. There is a video game that you can play, RPG game that you play while you're asleep. And then like this group of friends, they play the games. They got these characters, and I think one of them gets stuck in the game or something somehow, and they got to try to rescue their friend and or beat the big boss. I don't know. It sounds kind of interesting. In that sort of a Goonies, monster monster squad kind of way. I don't know. Die a little bit, but maybe a little more irreverent than Die seemed a little bit was a bit more serious take on it, but we'll see. Like I said, there's a couple of different covers here. There are also some incentives that are just virgin versions of these two. There is a 1 in 20 and a 1 in 30. Not a lot of movement on these because it is Oni, which is not one of the larger publishers, but there is an asking price for one of the 1 in 30s looking for over 60 bucks. So they're looking for over double ratio. And it could be one of those weird, tough books because how many stores are ordering that many copies of this? It's an Oni book after all. So who knows? Now, also new number ones coming out this week. Archie is bringing back the Jaguar. You remember her from the 90s? So the Archie side of things when they had, what was it, like the Shield and those weird Archie superheroes. The Jaguar is coming back. A cover, and then there is a B cover as well, if you are interested in that. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see, but it's a new number one. Figured you might want to know about it. Just like Distillery is giving us another new number one this time, Mirka Andolfo giving us Blasphemous. I think it's something like the character sells her soul for followers or fans or something. I don't know, but could be interesting. I've been hearing good things, but once again, I can't read everything. So if this is the type of stuff I should be checking out more of the Distillery stuff, please let me know. Again, I got a limited amount of time, so I gotta rely on the stuff that I can't not read, my gut, and recommendations from you guys. So I'm all for recommendations. So let me know. That said, some of you might be interested in this. There's multiple covers here as well. B covers and C covers. These are also those oversized. That's an art germ as well on that one on the side there. There are incentives from a 1 in 10 to a 1 in 25, and there's also a 1 in 50, and there's even I think there's like a store exclusive of that art germ or something. There is a virgin version of the art germ, but I think it's a store exclusive. But so I think 1 in 50 is the highest incentive on this book. But whatever. New number one, which will lead us into our later print section. Later prints, we got to start with Facsimile. We do have John Stewart, Facsimile, $5, sketch cover version as well. Makes sense. Okay, so the sketch cover is not really a facsimile, but you can get whatever art you want on it. And then there is obviously going to be a foil version for you if you are so inclined to want to spend $7 on it. So $7 will get you a shiny version of this John Stewart first. I don't know. That said, I don't have the original. I still want one of these original books, but maybe I'll grab a facsimile, regular one, a non-shiny. I don't need the older book shiny. It's just weird to me. But there is a King Kong Godzilla number 4 second print action. Here is a wraparound cover we're doing here. These were actually 2 separate covers on issue 4, but the second print is giving this to us as a wraparound cover. So yeah, they don't really connect, but they do go together. Wonder Woman is also giving us a second print for her issue 5, recolored version of the original cover A. So if you're interested there, second print on that one as well. You not be surprised that Skybound is giving us Cobra Commander's second print. We got issue 2 coming, so people might want to catch up and get issue 1 if they didn't get it the first time out. Pretty fun cover here. I think this is very similar to the Ashcan version, but we have this as the second print cover, and they're giving us 2 more in case that wasn't enough. You get a Globulus as well. Yeah, I know. Snake Man seems silly, but it actually plays out pretty well in the book. And then there is a group shot here on this third version of this cover, a third of this issue. So, whatever reason, 3 covers for the second print. Overkill, in my opinion. But, it is what it is. Now, also, if you're behind on your Rise of the Powers of X, you can get issue 1 in a second print. So, as issue 2 comes out, go get yourself issue 1 to go and catch up. And then we get a facsimile of Amazing Spider-Man 253. It's going to be murder when Spidey faces the Rose. Not exactly sure why we're getting a facsimile of this Rose appearance, but could be telling. Are we getting more of the Rose in comics? Are we getting the Rose maybe in Born Again? Maybe it's not Butch. Maybe it's the Rose. Kingpin's other kid. I don't know. We'll see. But facsimile of 253 regardless, which takes us into the next section.
WTF, Gary? WTF. What the fuck does WTF mean? What the fuck? Oh.
Yes, the WTF section. Why do we have this section here this week? Well, because once again, Marvel has decided to give us a different cover on the 1 in 25 incentive of a facsimile reprint. This makes absolutely no sense. This is just a reprint. Why are you calling it a facsimile? Why are you changing the cover on a facsimile? Once again, the idea behind a facsimile is that it's exactly like the original. It's a copy of the original. Otherwise, it's just a reprint with a new cover. Right? I don't know. Don't call it a facsimile anymore. Just call it a reprint. That said, it's not a bad cover, but I don't know. I don't know why they're doing this. I guess people are buying them, so they're going to keep making them. But with that said, let's move on. I don't want to linger here too long, so let's move on to some of the variant covers we got. Starting off with the Marvel 97 variants. I know I did one of the shorts, but nobody seemed to care, so I'm not going to continue with the other shorts on these. I thought they would be more interested in checking these out, but I'm still going to cover them here. Captain Marvel this week. It looks very similar to that one shot she had. Daredevil, as I mentioned, had another cover. Cartoon. Well, that's the thing. These are all cartoony, so it's following that kind of X-Men 97 kind of vibe, but it's Marvel 97. So expanded beyond the X-Men only universe, getting more of Marvel. And if X-Men 97 is a hit, I've heard they might bring back Spidey and I don't know, maybe some more Marvel animated stuff in that realm. So we'll see. There's also a Hulk one. Most of the books I've already covered are getting Marvel 97 variants as well. I didn't cover Guardians of the Galaxy, but we do have this weird lunging Star-Lord. I don't know. There you go. And Spider-Boy even is getting one. Still, sorry guys, I haven't gone and caught up on Spider-Boy. You guys have told me that it's not bad. I will catch up. Issue 4. It's not terrible. I could do 4 issues. I'll try to catch up and see how these are doing. But this homage at Roger Cruz, I like when they acknowledge when they do somebody else's art. But Spider-Boy with a 97 variant here. And then Spider-Woman also getting the 97 treatment, because you're getting a old school Julia Carpenter, even though that's not whose book this is. Still, it's February. It's also Black History Month. So we do have some Black History Month variants coming our way as well from both DC and Marvel. This week, we will start off with DC, who's giving us a pretty cool John Stewart here on that Green Lantern War Journal number 6. There's another cover that's not bad. We'll have in the regular cover section later. Cyborg getting the cover treatment here for Black History Month on Titans number 8. And then Wonder Woman's giving us a pretty solid Nubia here on her issue 5. Marvel, on the other hand, is only giving us a Star Wars one this week. We had a few of the regular Marvel Universe last week, but we're getting a Star Wars Black History Month cover here with, I can't remember his name in the show. It was an Obi-Wan. It's Ice Cube's kid. But he's getting a cover treatment, special treatment here on Star Wars 43. I think that's the number. But with that, we are also still getting more of these sweater weather variants from DC. Once again, their answer to the Ski Chalet, and it was only just a couple of the Ski Chalet covers where they kind of like, hey, let's have them in hot tubs and bikinis in the snow. DC is taking this to a whole nother level, and they're not only doing cheesecake, but they're giving us the beefcake as well. So here you go. For you Dick Grayson fans, you got all the Nightwing you can handle. He's right there giving you, I guess, a snow angel. I don't know who asked for these covers, but we're getting them nonetheless. So you got Nightwing here on Nightwing 111. That's another series I got to get back to reading. That was a good read, and then I fell off. I got to catch up. But Nightwing 111, this will probably not be the cover that I get if I do go back to catch up on this series because it's just not for me. It could be for many of you, but this one's not for me. We still got a Nightwing here, but with Starfire. Penguin kind of on a beachy kind of vibe, but again, sweater weather, snow in the background, whatever. It's just an excuse, I think, for DC to try to give us some, like I said, cheesecake and beefcake covers, or as in our next example, some Fabio romance novel covers, because that's all I see here when I look at this Superman number 11 with hairy-chested, soups there. Just, yeah, okay. Fabio style here. Anyway, moving on. Might as well move on to the cheesecake covers while you're all warmed up and we're already kind of in that vein. Let's just get right into it and stick with DC and go with Catwoman. No Poison Ivy this week, so we got Catwoman, which gives us, David Nakayama. Not bad. We got a couple other covers here as well. Some B's and C's, if you were so interested. I think it's In-Hyuk Lee there on the one side. Pretty cool. And then we do have some incentive variants as well, including a virgin version of that Nakayama. And I think it's a Lyrics Lee, maybe? Yeah, I think it's a Lyrics Lee over on the 1 in 25. Not really doing anything above ratio. They're right around ratio right now, so nothing to report as far as pricing goes, but still pretty cool covers if you're interested. This segment has been strongly represented by Zenoscope, so here we will go with some more as we have Fairy Tale Team Up, Robin Hood and Belle, number 1. All right, so an okay cover here, but I think it's some of these other ones. We do have the Ivan Tao and the Pierre Luigi. If I'm saying the names right. But a couple of these covers, not bad. Pretty cool. There is another. They're all, again, always number 1s. Van Helsing Annual, Bride of the Night, number 1. All number 1s. One-shots and crossovers, etc. Number 1 after number 1. Van Helsing, though, so we're getting some of this Van Helsing Vampire Hunter kind of action going here. I think it's a Burns cover in the middle. Pretty cool. Probably my favorite of the bunch. But you got a couple other options, too, if you're interested. And while we're on the subject, the other publisher that always finds itself in this segment and the character of Vampirella out of Dynamite. Yeah, we got another Vampirella Rage, Dracula, issue 5, Perillo cover. Yeah. Gonna find its way in this segment every time out. I think that's a Selena cover over on the right. It looks like a photo, but it's not a photo. That is art. I think that's Selena with the C. And then got another cover there as well. And then wrap up this little segment here, we do have a Punchline swimsuit issue. Remember Antarctic Press? Used to be all the rage for that short time. That Rags book, everybody was paying crazy amounts for that thing. You remember that thing? Rags and even Punchline. Both were darling characters for a very short window. Well, if you're interested, they got a swimsuit issue. So help yourself. But to get into the regular covers that I mentioned, I do have a few, and we might cover some titles that I've already done other issues on. But just for cover alone, I like these. So, Catwoman. This one, very much less cheesecakey than the rest. This has that pulp, novel. You see like the used sticker, like kind of peeling off. It looks distressed. I dig these. I like this style. I like it when they do covers like this. So this one caught my eye. Raza has a pretty cool war journal, #6. Like I mentioned when we had the Black History Month cover, we got this one as well. I like this. Just the green, it just pops like the pose. It's excellent piece of art. Tedesco is giving us a pretty awesome Wonder Woman #5. She's all armored up, ready for battle, right in the midst of it. Now, the next one, I had a hard time finding a place for this. If you guys remember, this is that Blit Map series. This is issue 3. These are those polybag books where they're all unique variants. Like they're all unique covers, like throughout. It's just there's different variations. I mean, they're only slight variations among things, but they're all variant covers and they're polybagged, and you don't know what you're going to get. So this is issue 3 of it. I figured I'd put it in the cover section because it seemed like the best place for it, but I didn't know where else to put it. But I do have the first 2 issues. Here's issue 3. I did pre-order this, so I'll see what I get out of this one. With that, this Crying Boy. I almost put this Keen Spot title in the #1s, but there was a lot of covers on this, and honestly, I just didn't feel like putting them all in. A couple of them were kind of cool. This is the one that kind of jumped out the most. It is creepy as hell. Like, this thing is really creepy and awesome at the same time. So I figured I'd just put this one in the cover section instead of doing the whole thing. Because the story didn't seem all that interesting to me personally. I think it was a single mother, and the father had passed away or something, and they moved to New York, and it's haunted, and the kid, and there's a picture of a crying boy. I don't know. I just wasn't really grabbing me with the synopsis, but this cover was pretty cool. So at the very least, I wanted to spotlight this cover. We are getting a Rebels cover here with Star Wars 43. So not the best, but not bad for Kanan and Zeb getting a little bit of time there on a spotlight cover. This could have found its way into the homage section, but since I didn't do one, X-Force #49 is here with the giant size X-Men redo. So there is that. But because I like it. I like it on its own. And another one that could have found its way into the homage section if I would have done one is this North Valley Grimoire. Granted, they've done tons of these homage covers throughout, but this is a really good bullet, the movie poster. I think it's just cool looking. So, yeah, so I wanted to spotlight it in that way. All right, try to wrap us up. See if we can get this done around 50 minutes. Incentives. We do have a few, not many, but a few incentives to kind of cover before we wrap up for the day. First one being Haunted Girl, #4, 1 in 10. Wrapping up this mini. This popped up when we talked about it. Well, we didn't talk about it. The boys talked about it when they had Sherry Ella. She was the guest artist that they had in the Star Wars show about a month ago. And she had her High Republic Adventures come out as well. I think it was last week. And now her 1 in 10 incentive, which was also on the way, is coming out this week. And I thought it was pretty cool, and I wanted to just kind of spotlight it here. You see one sold for not too much. Like, it was under ratio, but it had $20 shipping. So somebody did pay almost $30 for this 1 in 10. And then there's one listed for $20 online as well. Don't know how easy these will be to obtain. I did order a couple because I know maybe I'll give one away because, again, try to support the artist. She took the time to join us on one of our shows. So I want to do what we can to support her. I think she's talented, and I do like this cover. So make sure I got one for myself, and I got at least one extra that maybe I'll send out to one of you guys. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But with that said, this 1 in 10 for Haunted Girl #4 of 4 is coming out this Wednesday. Now, we got a Hans on Spider-Woman here. It's not bad. It's like almost like a different style. Almost, it looks like I want to say crayon. It's almost like a chalky kind of style, but I gotta dig it on Spider-Woman #4. Now, this 1 in 25 hasn't had any pre-sales yet. There's a couple asking right around ratio, so we'll see what this does as the week goes on. But $25 to $30, we'll see. I don't know. This one, however, Captain Marvel. I know Lopez, big Captain Marvel fan. He likes these Daughterman covers as well. And he made sure that he had to tell me. I was like, buddy, I know. Don't worry. I'm on top of this one too. So, Captain Marvel, 1 in 25 for this week. It's already doing pretty well, as you can see here. So this is issue 5. 50. Well, one did sell for 20, almost $60 in the other two sales. Asking prices 60, 75, $160. Going fishing. And then there's one that's already was at $17 when I grabbed this, snippet yesterday. But it's an auction and it still has, 4 days to go and has $20 shipping on it. So see where that one plays, shakes out when the week goes on. But this one seems to be a one that people are paying a premium for this week. We'll see what the volumes do. But one to keep an eye out for, definitely, if you can get one at a cheap price at your shop, because you can see it seems to be trending up. Speaking of which, the other book this week to probably keep an eye on at your shop, another 1 in 25, is the Villalobos Superman 11. I know there was some talk of whether her underwear strap was removed or not. I don't know. Don't think it matters. I don't think it's really a controversy type of book. It's just a pretty nice cover. You got Soups, you got Lois, 1 in 25, and I think it's doing all right already. So DC finally getting the variant back into the game here, as it's been a while. Granted, early pre-sales have only been right around ratio. Those are gone. Now the ones that are left are looking for double, $50 or so. So we'll see what the market will answer with. It seems like they're willing to pay ratio. Are they willing to pay more? Don't know yet, but that's why we're going to keep an eye on it as the week goes on and see what shakes out after Wednesday. But for this week, that's all I got for you to look ahead for. Hopefully you found that helpful. Thanks for all your support. Hopefully you found this useful. And like I said, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Come back, check out the Bargain Hunters. I got a film for tomorrow. Make sure you come back for the tax show. We might bring the wheel back. It's been a few weeks. Might be bringing the wheel back this week. So we'll have some fun looking at some old hot books again and seeing if we should be buying them and build out our portfolio once again, among a few other fun little things we got planned for Wednesday's show. And then, all the other things here on the channel. Make sure you come back Friday in the Hot 10 list and the Qualified and SNS, Dark Side, etc. And with that all said, I'll see you all later with some more content. All right.